Welcome to OpenQAPP. Navigate to openqapp.com and sign in using your CREST credentials. The first time you open, you won't see any QAPPs for your agency. So you click Start a new QAPP, and right now the template is for a full 23 element QAPP. We're going to call this QAPP demo. And if you use OpenQAPP for a long time and you work with other tribal agencies, you may be assisting other tribal agencies with their QAPPs. Right now, we are affiliated with this made-up agency, the PQAO Quality Network. So click Create, and OpenQAPP opens to this Getting Started page, and it includes an overview of the AI, which is very minimal and is just to make writing a QAPP more fun and hopefully a little bit easier to get through. And then we've got this image about the different elements of a QAPP, and then we have a crosswalk with the old QA standard on the right, the old QAPP standard on the right, and the new QAPP standard on the left. OpenQAPP is written in accordance with the new standard, but this is just for your information, especially if you've got an old QAPP that you want to basically cut and paste from. And then at the very bottom, and a very important link here to the EPA regional QA pages, because there may be region-specific or particular program-specific guidance that you need to work from. So this is just this Getting Started page. Every time you start a QAPP, you have to advance through the first few elements. We're going to call this QAPP a demo, and you have to pick a parameter. Right now, we have a template for continuous PM 2.5. So once you've selected your parameter, you have to click Save, and then your QAPP is started. So over here on the right, if you want to change your logo, at any point in time, you could eliminate these things from your eventual Word QAPP. But for getting started, we have to put in sites. And as soon as you add at least one site, you can see the elements of a QAPP appear in the navigation panel on the left. So we advance here by clicking Next, and here we have to add some people. So if you check the distribution list and the approval sheet, then that person will be included in both of those. You click Save, and at this point, once you've gotten into the project purpose, this is where the QAPP begins and where you can navigate back and forth over here and where the AI begins. So although we have example text here, you have to tell OpenQAPP that you like it, or else it won't be included in your QAPP. So let's just say we're going to accept this example text. So we click Save Updates, and once you've saved a section, then you can ask QAPP, which is the AI, which is very minimal in this project, and is just to help making a QAPP a little bit more fun. So what we've done here is we've put in these assertions for what this section should contain, and then we send this to OpenAI, and OpenAI judges based purely on the words and what order they occur in, because of course OpenAI can't understand this. But it is a way to just do a cursory overview and say, this meets these requirements, at least as far as OpenAI can tell. Keep in mind, you know best. This is your project. So if the QAPP, if the API says that they don't like this section, but you like it, it's fine. This is just to help you move through your QAPP. And every single one of these pages has a tip. So if you click down here, that opens up this side panel, and some of these I've put in a lot of tips. So you can make this big, and you can see that we have links in here, And the other thing that might be useful for people to know is you can have OpenQAPP open in multiple tabs, even in the same QAPP, so you can go back and forth. But now we've read this tips and we say, wow, that's a lot. Let's close that. So we click here to put it back on the right panel, and we are ready to go to the next. So we click next, and here again we have example text. It may not be relevant to your project at all, but feel free to play around with it. So for example, let's say that we only had one paragraph in here, and we didn't really talk at all about some of the things that should be in project background. And we click Save Updates, and now ask QAPP. What will happen is QAPP's not happy. So describe the context of the project. Okay, mostly there. State where there are previous or ongoing projects. There's none, and it says needs work. And then describe the environment and human health context. It liked that because that's the part that we left in. So keep in mind that you can have multiple tabs open. You can copy and paste back and forth in here, and just experiment with QAPP. Also keep in mind that if there's a section that doesn't pertain at all to your project, you could just click this and say omit this section. So we're going to go next, and keep in mind that if you type in a table, the OpenAI can read that. If you put in a picture, it can't see the picture, but it is really good at reading tables. So here we're describing applicable programs and standards. Click Save Updates, ask QAPP, and it reads all the material in the tables, and it likes that. The grammar check is done in every single section, and sometimes the grammar check isn't really useful because we have so many acronyms and numbers in a QAPP. As you go through the QAPP and you add sections and you say this looks good, or you edit it to be relevant to your project, at any point in time, even when it's draft, you can export this to Word and look at it. So at the very end, we have here, if you have lists of attachments, so you can edit this and put in the titles of your procedures or whatever you're putting in. We have a glossary, and we have supporting documentation. So people may want to upload their equipment owner's manual or other documents, their quality management plan, anything that is important that should be affiliated with the QAPP. And then review and print. And when you go to review and print, this is the first time I've tried to generate a QAPP. So it says, what do you want to do? Generate new QAPP document. Okay, click here, and now we're just going to keep its name, and OpenQAPP will keep track of the version number, but you can also edit it too if you want to say, let's just start over. This is version 1, for example. So you click generate, and now what it does is basically a big mail merge where it takes every little thing that you typed into each one of these elements and puts it into a template with all the headers. So over here is the download button. You click here for download, download the QAPP, open it, and the first time you open it, it is generating a table of contents. So you select update entire table, and this might look different on your computer. You open it up, and what it has done is it has put in all the information that you typed in. Of course, we didn't type in that much, but it has the paginated table of contents, the sections. These are the sections that we accepted, and it includes this. We have temporarily a doubling of the URL, so we're looking at a way to fix that, but it's still readable, and the URL links work. So you could see that this is the part where we haven't added these. So these are all the different sections, and every one of these is a variable, and whatever you type in into the screen in this section then goes into whatever corresponding mail merge field is in your template. So that's how OpenQAPP works. As you progress through it, you'll have lots of comments, and you feel free to just send me the URL, because then I can use that same URL and open it and then know what section you're talking about. Or you can take a screenshot. I'm really, really looking forward to getting your comments and refining this program such that it can be really flexible and work for all different kinds of co-ops and make things so much easier and faster.